all regions effective immediately are no longer in the stay-at-home order.
California Governor Gavin Newsom lifting all stay-at-home orders in his state last month. Critics say that the governor made that decision not because it was a good public health policy, but because he's getting increasingly worried about the recall effort against him, which has now garnered more than 1.5 million signatures, which was above the required amount to remove the governor. Now, author and speaker Tom Del Beccaro is the former chairman of the California Republican Party and the person leading that recall effort against the governor. So, Tom, first off, thanks for joining us here on National Report. I'm sure
thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. I'm sure you have a lot of insight on this. You've received the necessary number of signatures. But before we even talk about that, the fact that we're now calling for signature verification because we've reached that number is so rich. You know, I moved here from California. I was there during those stay-at-home orders. I was there when the beaches were closed. People were livid. I don't think it was a surprise that this effort reached that amount of people.
Yeah, and you're right. The fact that they're going to comb through all of these signatures when they don't do that on the voter rolls. I mean, that's part of, sorry. So
you can get that call in a minute.
So is the reality of the fact that when you vote, it should go through the same level as we are now, but they're going to do higher scrutiny. You know, my group, RescueCalifornia.org, and the original group, Recall Gavin 2020, have been working closely together. And we have hit this we're now at 1.6 million signatures. Our goal is 1.9, and we should hit 2 million by the first week in March. And that definitely will put us in the safe zone because we expect them to try and throw out some signatures.
When Governor Gavin Newsom lifted those stay-at-home orders, reopened outdoor dining in places like Southern California, Los Angeles County, do you think that was because of the recall effort? Do you think it was because there was a new presidential administration in office? Or do you think it was essentially just politically motivated?
Well, I know when we first started this, they said it could never happen. Then they said it was a long shot. Then as we got above 1 million, they started to smear us, saying groups like Recall Gavin 2020 leaders and mine, Rescue California, were white supremacists and every other name in the book. And then as we got close to 1.5 million, they said, okay, maybe it can happen, but he'll never be thrown out. I like the progression. The fact is, probably 2 million people will sign this petition in time. And the governor's nervous, and he's changing policy to be sure.
And I think most Americans want to get out of this pandemic. If they thought those lockdowns were working, we were told, 2 weeks to curb, and that just didn't happen. And California hit so hard. Now, the governor did take some steps to correct the policies that got people so angry, like I was talking about, lifting those lockdowns. Do you think, or did anyone you talked to, did that change their opinion, people who may have signed that recall effort?
No, I don't think so, because you got to remember how broad-based the pain he inflicted, and the fact that it was the Supreme Court who actually opened up churches, harking back to your last interview. So, no, he has done this grudgingly, plus he's a hypocrite. He went to the most expensive restaurant in California and dined, and then lied about it. So he's forfeited his credibility, and, we'll do shared sacrifice, but not when you have someone arrogant like that. And I know more than a third of the people who signed this were not Republicans. Many Democrats are unhappy with him because he took away their livelihood, whether you're a salon, a waitress, a busboy like I used to be. No, it's not going to go away.
You talk about salons, hairstylists, nail salons, whatever it was in California. They were being forced to operate in parking lots because that was safer. They're saying we have some of the strictest protocols inside our establishments to be sterile and be clean. And like you said, just shutting down these businesses.
Yeah, totally true. Funny story, I just got my haircut last Friday after 2.5 months. And the salon owner, who's a Democrat, was talking about just that. There was no parking lot for her. She talked about how clean it was. They have groups where they chat together and talk about these things. And the fact that he took away their livelihood and was so arrogant about it for so long. And remember, there's other problems. Water. There's the electricity problem, the EED problem. He is not good at his job, and he has bad policy. And that's why this is going to survive, and why now serious candidates are coming out. And the next phase of this begins.
It's going to be interesting to see. Tom Del Beccaro, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, take care.
Nikki Haley.